Can you hear me? Okay, so Fortunato and William, I just sent you the request. Okay, so let's get started. Today Federico is not available. He's traveling to France, as most of the team is also doing, because next week we have ETC. Also, part of the team attended DeCom in Berlin last week, and we had a couple of interesting things going on. So the first thing is that we made a game called the Schelling Game that was included in the swag bag that attendees had, and it was basically a game that showcases how the Schelling point principle works. So people had a QR that was their kind of their private key. So they created an account and they had to answer other people's questions, and these questions had a little bit subjective answers. So the answer was not very clear in most of them, and they, according to their approximation to the Schelling point of this question. So, in this case, if lots of people answer the same option, then they get more points and they understand how Kleros works. And it was also it's a good dynamic because it also functions as an icebreaker between attendees. And we had people coming to our booth and asking to scan their QR codes to participate. So that was pretty nice, and we probably will repeat that at ETC next week. So apart from that, I think maybe the most important part of ETC for us was the launch of FutureKey.fi, which is a FutureKey project by people. Well, one of the members is actually listening right now. He's called Cass or Kelvin, and another member is a very famous one. It's Robin Hanson, probably the father of FutureKey, and they are. We already talked a lot about this on the previous calls, but it's basically using prediction markets to make decisions, to inform decisions, and to execute that on chain in some cases. So there were two markets that were launched, if I'm not mistaken, at ETC, sorry, at DevCon. One was about what will be the price? What will be the price of the Gnosis token if Circle announces that they will be deploying USDC natively on the chain? And the other one, I don't remember right now, but they are, if I'm not mistaken, they are live right now, and I really recommend checking the interface because it's not an easy task to make an interface for FutureKey. There's lots of moving parts, and it's a bit complex, and I think they did a great job with that. And we are looking forward to see more experiments like this, and also maybe even in the Kleros DAO. Cool. Another thing with prediction markets. Oh well. One important part is that the FutureKey.fi is using Seer as part of the infrastructure, and also using Kleros for as the like final arbiter if there's a dispute. So that's how it touches the Kleros ecosystem. And another prediction market that was launched during the conference was a prediction market using the CRC tokens, which are the tokens that that people earn when they participate on circles, which is this group
Hey,
currency or individual currency platform. Hey, Casti, can you talk a little bit about the experiments that you launched?
yeah, sure. So thanks for mentioning us. And so happy to join the Kleros community call. So we have 3 markets live right now. So these are all 3 milestone markets. They are basically a beta for trying out how conditional markets work, so that you can later we're going to be doing proposals. And so let me just explain the 3 markets we have right now. So you can go and first of all, how you can see your markets on app.futarchy.fi. They are still in beta, so please give us feedback about what you think about them. The 3 markets are, first one, what's going to be the impact on the GNO price on the Gnosis token if Gnosis Pay achieves 2 million euro usage per week in the next few days. So these markets are going to be it's closing in a few days, and we have 2 longer markets that are going to last until the end of the year. First one is, you have mentioned already, what's going to happen with the GNO price if Circle deploys USDC natively on Gnosis chain. And the other one is, what's going to be the impact if Gnosis DAO adopts Futarchy advisory markets for big decisions over $5 million in treasury or other strategic decisions until the end of the year. So you can make it bet. If you think these ideas are good, if you think these milestones are important for GNO, you can have an option of buying GNO conditional on these milestones being achieved, meaning that you can buy GNO, and if these things don't happen, you basically have an insurance. You get your money back unless these milestones get achieved. So you pay a small premium and you get this insurance in a way. And so we're super happy to have you guys come by at appfutarchy.fi and try us out. As you mentioned, we are using the Sears smart contracts, and we are using Kleros as the final oracle for the events and the milestones. And something interesting that maybe we should announce, we're going to have a proper announcement later, but we are working with Clement and Alex and others on to make a proposal on Kleros about using Futarchy for all proposals related to minting PNK tokens. So the proposal we have in mind for Kleros is that all new PNK minted, so for all proposals that are going to mint more PNK, that we have markets estimating that this is going to be good for token price, that this is so there's going to be, so that's the proposal we want to make, and that the team, the Kleros team, is actually crafting such a proposal right now, and we would be super happy to have Kleros as one of our first clients and partners on this.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because we have sometimes the people are concerned about that possibility, and it's always helpful to have like more assurances that token holders will not get get affected in any way, that all the possible ways that we mint are approved by the token holders. This already happened, but in this case, then they will be able to see, right, Cass, that what is the expected effect on the token price. So the option only passes if the expected price is higher, right? If the proposal passes, right?
Right. So maybe I should explain a little bit what's the difference between for the token holders from having a vote on a proposal and having an actual conditional market on the proposal happening, trading at a higher price than the current market price. So, like, of course, having a vote is a good, but sometimes you have minority token holders still worried that, hey, maybe the majority of token holders are going to vote in favor of this dilution, but maybe I don't think it's going to be worth it. And so people sometimes have, minority token holders have worries about, okay, what if I don't agree, right? What if I don't think that's going to be good, right? And with conditional markets, if you see a proposal that you don't like, if you see a proposal that you don't like, you can just go and sell at a premium, basically. You can just go right now, if you just agree that this is a good proposal, you can just sell your tokens at a premium, conditional on this proposal passing. So you basically can kind of forcing everybody who is in favor of this proposal to buy out you and everybody else who is against. Otherwise, it's not going to be recommended by the market. So that's kind of a much stronger guarantee for minority token holders. And by the way, we're going to make this proposal, and on this proposal, it's already going to have conditional markets on this proposal. So you can, so of course, the proposal is going to suggest more liquidity to be added to these markets. But even for this initial proposal, you're already going to be able to trade on whether this proposal is going to be good or not.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know didn't know that part. I thought it was only on the it would be like a simple vote. Interesting.
So you're going to have a vote as well,
Great.
but alongside the vote, you're going to have the markets that you're going to be able to trade on. And
nice. So people will be able to experience already what will be the like the possible vote if it gets approved, right?
exactly, that's the idea. People can try it out and see how they like it.
Interesting. And I see that that you have, for example, in the UI, the possible price impact of the proposal, right? When there's markets like that.
Right, we do.
Okay, so that's interesting to see. Maybe there will be proposals that impact more the price, and maybe others have not that much impact. So people can use that to inform their decisions, right?
Right,
So,
and there can be proposals that our markets are currently estimating a negative impact, right? And then that's a signal from the markets that maybe we shouldn't do that.
interesting. Well, that's pretty interesting. I hope we have that soon. And if people already want to try that and kind of get used to it, I recommend checking the site I shared on the Telegram group if anyone is interested. And well, since we are talking about proposals, just want to mention briefly that we have a proposal by William for updating the parameters on all courts. If you have been following Kleros, you already know that we make these proposals every couple of months, and they depend according to how people have voted historically on particular courts. Also, that's one of the factors. Other factors are the price of Ethereum on mainnet, the price of gas, and well, any other factor, William, that you think are relevant?
I mean, those are the big things. Like ultimately, I propose parameters using a sort of calculator we developed. It's a Google Colab sheet. I provided the link to that in the forum proposal for the parameter update. So I encourage all people to go check it out. Basically, they can compare parameters that are compatible with a handful of different conditions. It should sort of be worth jurors' time to make like a good effort and analyze cases, but at the same time, the fee shouldn't be so high that someone can profitably just randomly vote and make a profit without putting an effort on a given case. There are a couple of other conditions that are designed around making specific attacks that we've identified unprofitable. Some of those are kind of technical, but ultimately the inputs to that calculator are sort of basic crypto prices, things like you mentioned the price of Ethereum and the price of PNK, prices of gas, but then also historic behavior on the courts, like the rates at which people could vote for, say like the most common outcome in a category of cases wins, which gives you a sort of idea of how likely someone would be. Like they just always voted for that answer, and they executed a lazy strategy where there's not looking at individual cases, there's always voting for the same thing. So, that might be higher or lower from one type of case to another, and the parameters for the different courts are calibrated accordingly.
Great. So, William, would you like to give your updates?
Sure.
Or maybe mention what will be your talk about in the ETC next week?
Yeah. So I have I'm speaking at ECC. I think my talk is on Monday, so the first day of the conference. I'm going to be talking about peer prediction ideas and how they can potentially be used in Schelling point oracles like Kleros. So a lot of our work, research for improving the Kleros protocol, is based on the idea that if jurors provide sort of more rich information than just saying, Alice is right or Bob is right, then you can come up with more interesting mechanisms, different voting systems, different incentive systems to like determine who is right and how the jurors should be penalized or rewarded. And one particular category of mechanisms like that is influenced by this existing academic literature from sort of the intersection between computer science and economics, where you ask people, like, not only what is the right answer to a question, but you sort of ask people what other people will say, and kind of an extension of the principle of Schelling point, where you can kind of people say not only who they think is right, but kind of how hard the question is, how split among the community different people will vote, ultimately kind of predicting like the breakdown of how many people are going to vote for Alice, how many people are going to vote for Bob, to give you a sense of how fun the question is. And I have thought generally about how peer prediction ideas can be applied to Kleros, Schelling point oracles, how you can do this in attack-resistant ways. A lot of the traditional peer prediction mechanisms people propose have problems with collusion. But specifically, we thought about using like these kinds of mechanisms to modify the vote stake from one case to another, so that if basically the vote stake for fuzzy cases is lower, which means that people that, honest jurors that are doing their best to come upon like a hard case aren't slashed too much if they get like a hard case wrong, while still having parameters, getting back to the sort of disincentivizing lazy strategies that are resistant to just people always voting for the most common answer. So I encourage you all to come check that out next week, on the live stream or in France if you happen to be there. I'm also going to be part of a panel the same day. So engineering track this year, it has a format where the different speakers will have individual talks, and then every couple of talks they'll group people together, the different speakers into panels. So I'm going to be on a panel with someone who has studied kind of options and derivatives over gas pricing. So like, how can I buy some kind of option that will like, maybe I want to make a transaction in the future on Ethereum, and I want to buy like a future basically on buying gas now to make a transaction later. So together we're going to talk about various ideas around parameterization, how much you can say in theory, what like how you can like test these models like empirically or through simulations, and generally like the broad questions around like what are the right ways to parameterize a crypto economic system.
Awesome. I remember, I think it was last year you have had like a huge audience of people looking forward to your call, to your talk. I'm sure this year it will be packed too. Okay, so another update that we have is that at DevCon we watched a talk by someone from the Ethereum Foundation. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Ori. He's researching use cases that are maybe unexplored on Ethereum. And one of the topics that he presented about DeCom, which is decentralized commerce, and what is the stack that is currently available. And he also wrote 3 blog posts about it. And there's lots of overlap between his research and things that we, how can I say, the vision that Kleros had initially, and the situation that we have now, that we expected to on-chain economies to be very developed by now. That this is not the case. So we are pretty much aligned that we want this to happen. We want more people to transact on chain, and in that case, of course, some of these transactions might have disputes that we can solve. So we'll probably be collaborating in some way or another with this person. And there are also some projects from the Kleros ecosystem that are building towards this vision. For example, Maldo, which is a home services platform from Uruguay. They are building exactly like something that fits perfectly the description of DeCom. And they are already live. They have, I think, 100 or so users, and a lot more service providers onboarded. So yeah, it was pretty good to hear someone that cares about this at this position at the Ethereum Foundation. Cool. Fortunato, would you like to give some updates about Curate?
Hey, thanks, Jean. Sure. First of all, yeah, as you said last week, we were at the DocCon. Very cool experience. We got to explore new projects, listen to interesting talks like the one presented by Cass, who was here. Very cool project. So yeah, go and check the app, Pewter Key. So yeah, we met a lot of interesting people, projects, both in Web3, not Web3, and most of them already heard of Kleros. And we also invited people to play the Schelling game, which was a good icebreaker to explain how our system works, because sometimes there were people who heard of us, who knew us, but they wanted to know a bit more. They knew in general what we did, but diving a bit further can be a good way to increase engagement. I think probably more than 20% of total attendance of the entire event participated to the game. So it was also a good place to explore new possibilities and potential partnerships. One of those that I can mention is one that is already moving forward, and is called Sirius Oath. This is a project to verify the conduct and managing style of venture capitalists. The point is to verify that their managing style is fair, is equal, is correct, a bit like the Hippocratic oath, the one that medical doctors do. In this specific case, this oath will be verified by Curate. So after this VC will sign the oath, pledging to manage their fund in a certain way. If they do not abide by this pledge, they will be flagged and lose money. Actually, to be precise, this project will be with Permanent Curate, which is an additional version of Curate that we will release in the next probably 1 or 2 months. So going a bit deeper in Curate, on the Scout side, next month we will renew the monthly reward program. And I would like to take this occasion to say that last weekend was pretty intense on the Scout registry. We had around, I think, more than 10 challenges, so new cases in the curation court. And this is a reminder that there's not just the Scout incentive program to participate actively in verifying assets, and also to earn from contributing to the safety of the registry. So yeah, you can earn by checking the entries of other people, and if you correctly challenge one entry, is 40 DAI, so yeah, $40. Another interesting update about Curate is that we are finalizing the partnership with Block Scout, which is another block explorer. And yeah, soon you will see displayed entries with the Curate verification badge. We will make a dedicated post and announcement in the next week. About this partnership, it's a technical update, is that we will also change the way we push data to our partners. We will optimize the way they fetch our current data, and so yeah, you will be able to check verified entries on our partner platforms like MetaMask, Scan, Block Scout, and so on, in a more in a smoother and faster way. So yeah, I think that's quite some updates. That's it from my side.
Okay, so basically we will be providing tags for Etherscan, Block Scout, and all the the various block explorers based on them, right? So that's pretty
Exactly.
good.
Exactly. Yeah.
There will be virtually no other block explorers left without using the Kleros tags.
Yeah, more than 90. I would say more than 90% of the market of Block Explorer will use our contract metadata, and Kleros registries of contract metadata are the largest independent source of verified information. So yeah, probably that's why we get to be displayed in these platforms, as we are not biased.
Yeah, that's great. And about the disputes that we have been receiving, also these disputes are being sent to the curation court on Gnosis chain. So if anyone is likes to solve these types of disputes, follow smart contracts, they are kind of like if you're a hobbyist like me, like I'm not a technical person nor an expert, but I can definitely say which contract belongs to which project. Then it might be a good choice to stake in this court and get a case about from Kleros Curate. Great. I don't remember if we have more updates about that, but we had a couple of cases last week from Kleros Enterprise. Marcos is not here today, but if I'm not mistaken, we had cases from MetLife, from Lemon, and also from a new jurisdiction, which is a city in the Buenos Aires province called Junín. And the first review that we had is that the cases were resolved properly. So these are good news for Kleros Enterprise. It means that more provinces and more jurisdictions are interested in having good results with Kleros. They actually required they are interested in applying the same integration that we have with Mendoza. And we are also working with other jurisdictions in Argentina to do similar pilots. So let's see how this progresses in the coming weeks. Apart from that, I think these are the main updates that we have for today. Just would like to give another reminder that there's a proposal now in the DAO. If you hold PNK, please go ahead and read the proposal and vote. Now it's not the best time to give feedback about the proposal, but if you have feedback, you can also enter the forum and leave why you don't agree with the proposal. Otherwise, you can just vote on Snapshot. The more votes that you have, it means that the DAO is healthy and people are paying attention and caring about the protocol. So it helps. Okay, one more thing that I think it's interesting is that last week we had the dev office hours with Paru and Guamian, and they presented Lockler, which is a smart contract, a solution that is kind of an escrow, but also how can I say, a single-use escrow that you can create, for example, on a DAO to give a grant to people, and you don't know who the other person is because it's like an open task. You can. It's a very flexible option that can be used as an escrow. It also uses an optimistic process, so a person can request funds if they completed the required task, and if there's no challenge, then the proposal gets accepted automatically. So if you are following Kleros and you are developing some integration, I really recommend checking that the recording of that presentation, because it has lots of details about this particular solution called Lockler, but also can give you some context about how to build on Kleros. And we will be having more sessions about that in the coming weeks, probably after the week of UTC. And if you have any other questions about developing with Kleros, that's also a good space to join and make your questions or even suggest new topics. Okay, I think this is it for me today. Let's talk on Telegram.
Great.
See you next week or the next one. Thank you, Fortunato. Thank you, William.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.